I always wanted to be an author, ever since I was a little girl. It was my passion. It's something I always knew I really wanted to do. When adults would ask what I wanted to be when I grew up, I'd look them straight in the eyes and say, I want to write books. I started writing children's books when I was in primary school. I'd take the books I'd written to school and read them to other children during lunch breaks. They were a captive audience. A neighbour gave me an old tea chest that I would keep books, poems and song lyrics I'd written all in my big old tea chest until it was literally overflowing. I got really excited when I would receive a book for my birthday or Christmas. I couldn't wait to crack it open and dive straight in. Sometimes I'd stay up so late reading that I needed a torch under the blanket. Otherwise my parents would know I was still reading instead of sleeping. My love of writing books never stopped. No matter where I was in the world or what I was doing in life, writing books was always a big part of me. I'm writing 6 books at once at the moment, so every day is full of the thrill of living out my childhood dream. I write fiction and non-fiction across a variety of genres. The framework I start with on every new book is the title, then chapter development, and from there I move into research if it's a non-fiction book. It might involve interviews with contributors. A full manuscript can take months, or in some cases years, to complete. I started writing my newly released book, In a Heartbeat, while I was still in rehab after my own critical heart attack that almost ended my life. I couldn't find a book like it, so I decided to write the book myself. My day started out like countless others. Just another ordinary day. The 6 a.m. alarm jolted me into consciousness, and after a hot shower, I was recharged for my normal busy day. I'm busy juggling a number of projects at the same time, and this day was no different. Even though my stress levels were elevated, I'm fit, don't drink or smoke, exercise every day, and I'm full of energy. I love life. The interview for one of my books that day was with a counsellor who spoke about horrifically traumatic stories. I often write about confronting subject matter to help give a voice to some of the most vulnerable in our community. The interview continued for many hours, and towards the end, I felt unwell. In my mind, I thought I was sitting in an awkward position, so that's why my shoulder hurt. I had tingling in my fingers. That must be from leaning on my arm. I felt lightheaded and figured that's due to skipping lunch. Feeling dehydrated, I was drinking a lot of water. So it must be the heating bellowing in my direction. I justified every warning sign. My clouded mind conjured up a repertoire of reasons to explain what I was feeling. But in reality, my critical heart attack had already started. When I got home, it wasn't long before I realised the gravity of the situation. I collapsed. But fortunately, my son arrived. I was rushed to the hospital. That morning, I was a seemingly healthy woman. Now, I was lying in a hospital bed, hooked up to beeping machines, on the brink of life and death, with the words flashing through my mind. Heart attack. But I wasn't in the typical age bracket, and to my knowledge, there was no family history of heart issues. But my life had changed within a split second. I spent 6 weeks in rehab with specialised exercise programs. I became very well educated about the type of food I should or shouldn't eat, and many other aspects of lifestyle that needed to be taken into consideration. Today, I'm well again, full of energy. I even hiked 20 k's through rough terrain. I'm one of the lucky ones. I have a beautiful family and great friends, and I'm still here to enjoy time with them. Don't take your heart for granted. Love your heart. If a heart attack can happen to me, it can happen to you or someone you love. The contributors in my book trust me with their most intimate stories, and I'm privileged to be in that trusted position. So I need to honour their trust It's their story in their own words, and it's their voice that needs to be heard.
What I've learnt the hard way is that prevention is better than a cure. Many of us ignore the warning signs, prioritising our work, family, everything else except ourselves. What's the good of success, wealth and money if you're not here to enjoy the time with your loved ones? Rachel, your book is a roadmap of staying ahead of the game.
Anybody who reads this book is going to get the sense that the people who really contributed to this book and the fact that she got so many people to be able to tell their stories, I think again it's power to the force that is Rachel Cassidy, and the fact that you're all here with us early on a Friday evening to celebrate a labour of love coming to fruition, I think it speaks importantly to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make a statement up front. This book will save lives and save money.
Well, this book is fantastic because it has stories about how people had heart attacks, what were the symptoms they had, and how they felt afterwards. My husband's story is featured in this book. I'm a doctor, and I was lucky enough to be able to recognise the signs and symptoms that my husband was having a heart attack, and we could get to the hospital and his life was saved.
Rachel's book fulfills a real need in the community for people who are affected by cardiac disease. And let's face it, if it's not you personally or it's not a family member, you do know someone affected by heart disease. It's just that common.
I'm here today because of Rachel and the fact that she's written this magnificent book, and it's taken her a long time, I think 5.5 years in the writing. So being her friend, I've been told about various people that she's been interviewing, and this is the culmination of it all, the launch of this book.
I think it's really important that we continue to shine a light on heart issues and heart stories, because we need to prevent these things from happening. We need to save lives where we can. For me personally, when my heart stopped, I needed people to resuscitate me, and I think the more people we have in the community that are aware of what to do when somebody's heart stops, the more lives we'll be able to save.
It's often sometimes fend for yourself. And when you go home, you feel afraid, you feel anxious, you may not be able to sleep. Is my heart working okay? Am I going to have another heart attack? And this is where a book like this raises awareness.
I have a fabulous publisher. They're very clever, and I know my work is truly valued. I love being part of a team effort. As writing books can be a journey full of solitude, so it's exciting to be part of a team. The publishers have worked very diligently to distribute the book far and wide, as it's in Big W, Readings, Dymocks, and so many other great bookstores, as well as Amazon and Booktopia. So it's very easy for the public to pick up a copy. My advice to aspiring authors is, if you really want to succeed, then never give up. Be resilient, as you'll have many challenges along the way, and you'll get knockbacks. Pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and keep on going for it. I enjoy my role of mentoring young, up-and-coming authors and seeing them grow in confidence and experience seeing their own books on the shelf. The takeaway from In a Heartbeat is that many readers are contacting us, letting us know that they've booked in for a heart health check. So that's a really good outcome. The book reviews have been outstanding, so we know the public are very engaged with the content. I feel privileged to be surrounded by a loving family and great friends, as that type of support makes all the difference in life.